everybody, and welcome back to a brand new video today where, well, we've got the titles for the final 2 episodes of Series 12, and they certainly present some quite intriguing prospects. I thought they were probably video-worthy, really. So yes, we've got the episode titles for episodes 7 and 8, Can You Hear Me, and The Haunting of Villa Diodati. So episode 7, don't really know much about it, but it's quite intriguing, mysterious, somewhat set in Aleppo in the 1100s or something like that. It was all quite bizarre. And then the 8th episode, which is a Mary Shelley Frankenstein episode, which also sets up some potentially intriguing prospects for the finale, I think. But yes, now what you've been waiting for, of course, is the finale titles, with episode 9 is called Ascension of the Cybermen, and episode 10, The Timeless Children. So yes, 2 very intriguing titles there, which present many possibilities. Firstly, let's tackle the episode 9 title, Ascension of the Cybermen. So that is obviously going to be a Cyberman story. As far as we know, it's going to be a 2-parter finale, one leading into the other. Apart from that, we don't know quite how it's all going to work. Obviously, Captain Jack came back in episode 5 to tease the lone Cyberman, but then this is called Ascension of the Cybermen, so that implies an ascension is kind of a rising up. Some religious connotations to that, but particularly a sort of raising of the Cybermen. Almost it fits with Rise of the Cybermen, of course, the title we had in Series 2. So it certainly suggests a rebuilding Cyberman army, potentially. And my kind of current theory and prediction would be that in episode 8, well, firstly, the synopsis for episode 8 has an quite intriguing ending. So it waffles on about 1816, Frankenstein, Mary Shelley, blah, blah, blah. But then it ends with this final line. And the Doctor is forced into a decision of earth-shattering proportions. Now, I just wonder, as soon as I read that, I'm thinking, the lone Cyberman, don't give it what it wants, from Captain Jack in episode 5, which is presents some quite interesting prospects. And I'm trying to think, maybe could it be that episode 8 is going to lead into the finale? I don't know. Seems like it's a possibility, I think. Maybe in episode 8 we'll see a Cyberman appear for whatever reason in this Frankenstein type story. Maybe it will be the Cyberman is the Frankenstein. And then that's like the last of the Cybermen is being completely destroyed and their whole race is gone, basically. And then, I don't know, the Doctor helps it or something, or gives it what it wants in episode 8, which then leads to a massive cyber army and cyber war for episode 9 and potentially into episode 10 as well. That would be my current theory and prediction, but, well, who knows if that's right. And then, yes, as I say, episode 9, Ascension of the Cybermen, seemingly is a huge, big cyber war. Chris Chibnall described it as a massive space opera type story, so very much big, set in space, lots of, I guess, spaceships, planets, loads of Cybermen. Like, certainly from all the quotes, kind of Chris has suggested that you are going to see one and then a lot of Cybermen. So I think we're going to have a proper, serious cyber army in this finale, which I'm certainly very, very intrigued to sort of see what it's all about. But then, of course, the probably more intriguing episode title is for the finale, the 65-minute finale to Series 12, Episode 10, called The Timeless Children, which completely throws us off what we'd known up until now. The timeless child, a child in time, all sort of that was always described as the child, not the children, which is what suddenly we're being called in episode 10. So that, I guess, presents many possibilities and prospects and maybe smashes some theories out of the way, because I guess children could... So let's firstly take the theory that the Doctor is the timeless child, or the Ruth Doctor is the timeless child at the very least. I guess from that we could kind of deduce that children just means different incarnations of the Doctor become the timeless children, I guess, but then it's the same person, so why would they describe it in the context of children like it's multiple people? I think that's very, very intriguing. What is it going to be that maybe the timeless children were like the forefathers of Gallifrey and there were multiple of them? Maybe the Doctor and the Master are both the 2 timeless become the timeless children, I don't know. It just sets up some really interesting prospects. It kind of just, as soon as we were kind of thinking, okay, maybe it's kind of obvious that the Doctor's going to be the timeless child, and then they threw us off by going timeless children. And just in an episode title, it feels like we're completely thrown off what it could be. I know the alternative universe theory is still out there, but Chris Chibnall kind of pooh-poohed that and said, no, it's not going to be that. So we kind of have to take him at least to his word for now and think that he must be saying, if the episode's called The Timeless Children, then it's got to be more than one person. So yeah, I'm very, very intrigued. And of course we know that Chris, and Jodie have talked about how it's unlikely that everything's going to get resolved in this one series. So in some ways I wasn't necessarily expecting that the finale would be so heavily focused on the timeless child, because I thought that was quite a long-term mystery. Maybe we'll find out the sort of reveal of who the timeless child is, but we won't get as much things around maybe the Gallifrey and the Master, and maybe that sort of plotline just of destroyed Gallifrey will carry over for another series, I don't know. But it in some ways surprises me, but also very much exciting to hear that the finale is called The Timeless Children, and is going to be heavily focused on this whole arc that we've kind of been waiting for, really, I think. Some possibilities, I guess, maybe could the timeless children be the Doctor's companions because they're kind of becoming timeless and they are the sort of children of the Doctor almost. I don't know, maybe. Sounds pretty far-fetched, I know, but you never know. Chris might do something bizarre and wacky like that. He did talk about, I think in the DWM article, he talked about how back in the 70s in Revenge of the Cybermen, the planet Voga, their sort of people had the logo of what was the seal of Rassilon in Gallifrey eventually, which is just a reused prop ultimately for a Gallifrey story. But there was that connection between Revenge of the Cybermen and Gallifrey. And that's one of the other intriguing things I find about this finale is what do the Cybermen have to do with the Timeless Child and Gallifrey? Like, they feel very separate kind of plot lines. There's never, at least in the past, I don't think, been any real indication that the Cybermen have been particularly had any connection or involvement with the Time Lords in any way and Gallifrey in any way. So how does a finale kind of completely mesh the two apart? Because I can't imagine they're just going to tell two completely separate stories in the same episode. Like, that would just be a bit bizarre. So surely there's got to be some sort of connection and link between the two. I just can't figure out what it is. But now it's over to you guys. I would love for you guys to theorise in the comments down below, based on these episode titles, these little bits of information that we've got and what we've seen so far in the series. What are your predictions for the Series 12 finale? What do you think is going to happen in The Timeless Children? And what's going to happen with the Cybermen as well? I'd love to hear all your theories down in the comments below. But as always, guys, remember to hit that like button, that subscribe button if you're new here, and I'll see you again very soon for another one. Goodbye.